Can you eat too much protein? Is it bad for you? You'd be surprised. Watch this.
Our first caller is Anthony from Alberta.
What's happening, Anthony? How can we help you?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's you guys.
Hey.
Part of me was expecting a Nigerian prince.
Sorry to
No way they
disappoint.
picked my question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. First off, I just want to say I first started listening to you guys about 5 years ago for the fitness information and the laughs. Then throughout the years, I became a father of 2 amazing girls. And now more recently, I became a church-going man. So the amount of value I get from you guys and your stories is really something I can't express enough.
Thank you.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, here's my question. A few months ago, I wanted to shed some extra love that I gained over the holidays. So I adjusted my calories to 2,000 a day. After about 3 weeks, well, more like exactly 3 weeks, I got to a leanness I was happy with. So I decided to start bulking. Every 3 weeks, I added 500 calories until I got to where I am now, which is 4,000 calories and 250 grams of protein a day. I know you guys recommend about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and obviously I am in excess of that quite a bit. So I was wondering if you guys think that the amount of protein I'm eating for a guy my size is too much. I am 30 years old, 170 pounds, and 5'10".
How do you feel? Like digestion wise? How do you
Yes, I feel really good. I'm paying a lot of attention to that, things like digestion and stuff like that. It is definitely dependent on quality of food. So obviously, sometimes I'll work out at camp or out of town. My food choices, I do the best what I can, but sometimes it's just Boston pizza.
Right.
Where when I'm in town, I have a lot more control of what I eat. And in those times, my digestion is a lot better, even though the protein is still the same.
Where are you getting all your protein from? What is it all from, like animal source, or is it a lot of like whey protein?
Yeah, 99% of the time it's animal source. I think I've been doing 4,000 calories for about 9 weeks. I had one time it was from a protein powder. But other than that, it's animal source.
I think you're killing it.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. This is a good question because I want to get to the root of why you're asking this in the first place. What's making you ask us? And this may be less for you, Anthony, but more for other people watching right now, okay? Because you've already kind of answered it with the questions that Adam and Justin asked you. But what made you ask this question in the first place about your protein being too high? What do you mean by that? Like, what are you worried about?
Yeah.
What's the driver behind that?
You got it. Good question. So the reason I ask, honestly, so I am, like I said, I'm feeling pretty good. In my opinion, everything's going really good. This is the best I've ever been fitness wise. So everything's going great. But it was mostly, so one day my girlfriend walked downstairs, or my wife walked downstairs and saw me scooping a full container of Greek yogurt into a Tupperware container. And then she kind of looked at me half judging, half concerned. Like, do you think there's ever it's possible you could eat too much protein? And, maybe I got a little defensive at first, and I'm like, no. But then I kind of calmed down, thought about it. And I'm like, you know what? I should really look into that. And the information that I have been looking at actually kind of does lean towards that I am eating too much protein, but I'm confused because I feel so good. And I want to prove my girlfriend wrong, I guess.
Hold on, girlfriend or wife?
I was going to say, which one? Your girlfriend or your wife?
Okay.
Yeah.
That might be the problem.
Future wife.
I'm glad she's just focused on the protein and not your girlfriend.
So, all right. So look, there's like these interesting kind of fears around eating quote unquote too much protein. And the fears tend to be something like it's going to stress your kidneys. It's not good for your body. Like there's something inherently unhealthy about protein. But those are all totally unfounded. Now, to be quite honest, what you're doing is actually quite difficult. Like the average person would find it very challenging to eat 250 grams of protein from whole food because it's so satiating. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I can see on the people's faces.
Yeah, so
whenever they see me eat.
Exactly. So people listening right now, like if you're doing this from whole natural sources, you're probably not going to be able to get to 250 grams. I can't do this on a regular basis. It fills me up too much. But really what you should be looking for are signs of poor digestion, feeling lethargic. Is your protein crowding out other essential nutrients? Like sometimes people get so focused on protein that they don't eat enough healthy fats or just essential fats. But otherwise, there's nothing at all. There's zero wrong with what you're doing.
I think you're killing it.
Yeah, you feel good. Everything's going great.
especially since
Absolutely.
you're getting most of this through Whole Foods.
Right.
Because more than likely you're not missing out on those other macronutrients if you're getting it through Whole Foods.
Correct.
You know, where people screw up is they're so infatuated with the protein.
They don't get enough fat.
Yeah, all they're doing is taking whey protein in like crazy to hit that kind of high target. But if you're getting that through Whole Foods, you're going to get your mix of healthy fats with the protein. So, I mean, if you feel good, that's the main thing. Now, sometimes people aren't aware. Okay, so maybe you feel good, like you're in good shape and you're strong, but then you're like farting every 5 minutes. So if your fiance is telling you that because your shit stinks so bad, okay, that could also be a sign that you are a little high on protein. So even though you feel like we tell the story of our good buddy Craig, who we were all, so I can guys roll him under the bus all the time. Well, because the reason why I bring him up right now,
alias at
okay,
least.
okay, shout out to our boy Craig, is
For people who don't know, it's Craig Capurso.
yeah. He's in incredible shape, right? Incredible shape. And he would tell you that he feels amazing and like that. But I could tell you right now by the smell of his farts clearing out a suite that it's like, hey, bro, that's too much protein. I mean, that's so
It's that memorable. Let's
right.
be honest.
It is that memorable.
It's
So
impressive.
that is why I bring that up, right? So maybe she's like, hey, bro, you should check.
She's
the
trying to be
protein.
nice.
Yeah, she's trying to be
Hey,
nice.
you're not
to
married
you.
yet. Just wait till you get married.
But
She'll tell you-
you're
she'll tell you
farting.
Be a
straight up.
lot more honest.
And
yeah.
you think because you got abs and you're strong and you look good and everyone's telling you look good that you feel great, right? But deep down, you are having a little bit of digestive issues and you don't realize it because you got so much gas.
Yeah, you got just pay attention
Paint
to
on
how
the
you
walls are
feel.
peeling.
Pay attention to your digestion.
Yeah.
I
I'll start
that's
asking
it.
around.
Yeah. And by the way, the most common thing that can happen from someone who's eating quote unquote too much protein for their body isn't actually the flatulence. It's more like constipation. That's much more common
Okay.
where somebody just has, they just are more constipated. And
Okay.
so they need to switch that out for some fiber. You know, if your calories are too high, you're gaining too much body fat, you know, you could cut your protein and you'd be totally fine.
I think you're good, bro.
But you're doing okay. And I'm glad you brought up this question because there's this interesting fear around protein, like it's you know, somehow bad for you. And it's just,
And by the way,
it isn't.
And this is totally different if we're just talking to some random person who's not exercising. You're weight training consistently.
Yeah.
So you're putting a lot of that to work. It would be totally different if you were just this person who's sitting around doing nothing and you're eating that much protein. But you lifting weights, your body's put it to work.
Now
You're doing great.
I will say this: it was a huge bump in calories in a relatively short period of time, and right now you're feeling lots of positive effects. I would still pay attention to how your body's responding because you may be in that initial phase of utilizing all these calories for muscle and stuff, but at some point you may. This isn't guaranteed, but you may find that body fat starts to accumulate a little too quickly. In which case you may need to cut down. But other than that, you're doing a great job.
Stay the course.
And he's going to stay the course because he's frozen.
I don't think that was too fast. It's 500 every 3 weeks, bro.
No.
That's basically 100 a day. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he did 500.
No. Three.
Every 3 weeks he went up 500 calories.
Oh, so you're
Every
looking
3
at
weeks.
6 weeks going from 2,000 to 4,000.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not even. More than that. Every 3 weeks he went up 500
So that's
calories.
what, 9 weeks later.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he might be okay.
No, that's great. It's like it's all like he's 100 and something calorie.
I
bump.
thought
The way
it
it
was-
was worded, I was a little confused.
Yeah, I thought
I
it was from 2,000 to 4,000 in
No,
3
you
weeks.
know, I'm looking at this and I'm like, dude, this is exactly my reverse diet out of a show because I would, except for I wouldn't quite get down to 2,000. I get around 2,200 to 2,300 for a show, and then I would bring back about 500 calories every couple of weeks as I was pulling back on cardio and stuff. And this is exactly what it looked like.
The most interesting part of this whole question to me is that at his body weight and his size, that he can eat 250 grams of protein from Whole Foods.
And it just highlights the individual variants.
Dude.
You know, like not a lot of people can do that.
This would be a force feed day for me.
Yeah.
There's no way I'd be able to maintain this because it's just so satiating. It just crushes my appetite.
I mean, I also think he's also witnessing. I mean, the guy's was a
Body
2,000 calorie a day.
Hungry for it.
He's lean. He's lifting weights pretty good. I mean, his body's
Anabolic.
His
Yeah,
body
it's
is
really
just
anabolic
primed
right now.
to build right now, and it's he's hungry. So I mean, this is perfect, and I'm glad you did ask him to explain himself, even though I think Justin and I pretty much hit the things that were the main concerns.
Yeah.
So we could get out what I think a lot of people get, and that's I think the messaging.
Yeah.
There's a lot of messaging right now
There's
around
the
like
fear around it.
and you called that a long time ago that they were going to demonize protein.
course.
That protein's this bad thing now. It's just like stop it. Not with somebody that's that healthy, that's lifting weights, that feels great. Like
No, and one more thing I'll address with protein. Protein does stimulate growth factors in the body, and these growth factors can also stimulate cancer proliferation. But that does not mean that these growth factors are pro-cancer. It just means that things that make your body grow, if you have cancer, will also feed cancer. What else is this true for? Everything that you eat, all your nutrients.
Exactly.
So there is nothing inherently unhealthy about protein at all. In fact, it's one of the healthiest things you can aim for in your diet.
do you think that there is a large portion of people though that, and not to keep hammering our poor friend Craig, but that get
Craig
I mean
Capurso.
the reason why I bring that up, I know I was that way in my mid-20s. I was taking in so much protein, and that to me was the sign. Like I was either on the toilet or
Yeah.
I was like farting like crazy.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was part of it. Like, oh, I got to eat this much protein in order to get big, and then when you eat this much protein, you're gassy like this, like crazy. And it's like that's not true at all. Like I don't have that much gas at all compared to what I used to.
I think too, like the source of it, like if you're getting a lot of like protein powder and you're drinking it fast, and you get the air and everything in between. So I think there's a little bit of a slower digestive element to like eating, animal sources.
Dude, I tell you what, I've done 230 grams of protein from whole foods on a relatively consistent basis. It takes me 5 meals to do so, but I don't get the gastro distresses when I'm making up my protein intake with like 100 grams of protein shakes,
Yeah.